Got Purple Banter live in the house.
Are we
Purple
rolling?
Banter, y'all.
We are ready
We're
to
rolling.
go.
Hey, what up, y'all?
We got Jake Olson in the house.
What up, man?
What's going on, guys?
It's a beautiful thing. How have you enjoyed your Super Bowl experience so far?
Well, it's been short-lived thus far.
Okay.
But this is our fourth Super Bowl kind of. 2019, we skipped 2020, obviously, and
Yeah.
then 21, 22, now 23. So,
Did you go to Minnesota? That Super Bowl?
no,
all right,
that
that's
was
where we're
that was the one right before we kind of started this whole nonsense.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
we're just excited for the week, man. It's a crazy week.
Yeah.
So you're a Cali guy, right?
Yes.
Now, did you pick a team once like Rams, Chargers came in, or did you already have a like?
Yeah, so that's the weird thing, growing up in obviously I was born in 97, so growing up with those Trojan teams, in the early 2000s was really like my into football. I mean, that's
Totally.
kind of why I started loving football. Carroll and Reggie, Matt Liner, all those things, but never really had an NFL team.
Okay.
My family's actually from Chicago, so kind of grew up watching the Bears.
Okay.
Wasn't a total fan.
It's hard to be.
Yeah, but but my parents, when Carroll went to Seattle in 2010, I became a Seahawks fan.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So
So you're just true and true Trojans, like within your childhood and your career.
yes, yep.
That's dope.
Yep.
Well, that's one of the beautiful parts of like you becoming a Trojan, right? Like you have this incredible story to like that lineage of like having this end cap on a career that like grew from a childhood story.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can kind of give you the Cliff Notes version, but to your point, I mean, you kind of nailed it on the head. But obviously, again, grew up in Southern California, grew up with a childhood cancer called retinoblastoma. That cancer ended up taking my eyesight completely at the age of 12 years old. Around that time when I was losing my eyesight, I was gifted the opportunity by the grace of, Carroll and that Trojan team and the whole department of really kind of them surrounding me and being there for me when I was 12 years old, kind of making me an honorary member of that team, helping me get through that time. And then, fast forward a couple of years, I'm in high school. I ended up wanting to play football despite not having eyesight. Did that through long snapping, kind of figured that it was a position where you could consistently snap the ball. You didn't have total blocking responsibility. It was just something I could actually do so long as, the holder and lined me up. And so figured that out, ended up, starting varsity long snapping my junior, senior seasons. And then always wanted to go to USC, but Coach Sarkisian, who was, the head coach at the time, I played at a pretty good high school in Southern California. So coaches were always at our practices and games. So he had seen me snap. And so I was up at practice one time my senior year, and he just basically said, "Are you wanting to come to USC?" I said, "Yeah, of course." And he said, "Well, what's your relationship going to be like with the football team?" And I said, "I really haven't thought about that." But he said, "Well, I don't see why you couldn't snap on the team when you're here." And
That's wild.
Yeah, once he kind of offered that, I'm like, man, there's no other way I want to go to college than that.
Yeah.
And so sure enough, walked on. But to your point, like, I think what makes it more special story than anything is just that you had all of Trojan Nation and really all of college football and Sports Nation, see my story when I was 12 years old, root me on, pray for me, love me, support me throughout, those years of growing up then. And then for them to all kind of get to experience me at USC and then finally see me snap and everything. It just was a culmination of like everyone. And I think everyone felt so a part of it more than just, like I said, kind of a cool story, which would be just, a blind guy playing football. Everyone felt a part of the story, which I think made it that much more special.
Well, it's crazy because so myself and Kati are Minnesota people, like diehard Vikings, and then like she's a Gopher fan, but
Yeah.
Okay.
when you grow up in Minnesota, it's pretty hard to be like a huge college
Because
football
we're
fan.
not great.
Sure.
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 So-
We were great in the 40s.
Right. So I always
Yeah.
ended up kind of being like a USC fan after like
I don't think I knew this.
well after like the Reggie Bush era.
Okay.
I
I
was-
mean, it was hard not to be,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
I had no other thing to decide. Like I
Right.
always was confused. Am I a Notre Dame fan? Maybe.
Yeah.
I could never do the Gophers, and then I had a hard time.
Why?
They suck.
I mean, maroon and gold. Spin the head. Let's go.
I mean, I feel
I
like,
wish I could, and I've tried to row the boat like so
Yeah.
many times.
hey,
I row the boat hard.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's like a
say,
heartbreaking
yeah,
boat, though.
Well,
Yeah.
But so it's
a
so
sinking boat.
It's a sinking boat.
So it's so
That's
intriguing to me, like when places collide, because Kati's like, "Yo, we have like Jake Olson coming on." I'm like, "Wait, I absolutely remember like
Yep.
this story. Like it transcended the game. It brought everybody to like understand what it is to be like human and to stretch past anything that you could ever expect, to just like fucking have balls and go for it. Yeah. Your courage is one of those things that just is like, it excites anyone. And so I just appreciate you to be able to like just always take those risks to be, and then be willing to share this story, because it allows all of us to realize like, damn, why am I not trying harder to be able to actually do the things that I care about?
Well, thank you, man. No, I mean, that's what I speak about. I'm so glad that's kind of the message you've gone from just watching and learning my story, because I mean, that's exactly what I want to tell people and kind of share, because although I tell people my story's special, it's not unique in the sense that, you know, like I made a spell or did magic fairy dust or something like that. Like it's not unique in the sense of that way. Everyone who's listening can pretty much apply themselves in a similar manner and go out and accomplish, you know, something that they may consider to be, you know, either out of their reach or other people consider to be out of their reach. And it just really does take that courage and that willpower. And then, you know, there's other stuff that comes along with that, but it first is that courage and that ability to look at yourself and say, I'm going to make this decision to go and take that first step, and then see how other people come alongside you and make it happen.
Nice. Yeah. Well, another, you know, Trojan birth, I would say. Engage. You guys are both rocking the shirts. I heard that you guys were college roommates.
Yeah. So Daniel, my partner, my right-hand man, like he was my random freshman suite mate at USC. So luck of the draw there for both of us. I know he says for him, but for both of us. You know, I'd been speaking and kind of, you know, sharing my story up to the point of getting into college. And then obviously, you know, when I went to college, the story continues to grow and speaking becomes more of a demand. And my parents, up to that point, were the people who kind of traveled with me, would, you know, receive those speaking requests. And they both worked, and obviously I was getting older. So it's kind of like, hey, you know, we're looking for someone to kind of take this over on a professional level. Mm-hmm. Daniel, although being a freshman in college, grew up kind of around sports in Denver and grew up around athletes, and kind of just has a personality of a real professional, you know, a little different than your average 18-year-old college freshman.
Knows how to talk the talk. I mean, that's the whole thing with sports, right?
Exactly.
You just got to like be in the room. You got to know you got to be in the room. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I made him my manager, and you know,
when he was 18.
Yep.
No way.
Yep.
So just forced him.
Yep.
Immediately. You're like,
yeah.
just so you know, this is happening.
Did you want a job? All right, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
That's true. You had a job before you graduated. That's the dream.
That's good.
We drafted a contract that neither of us have signed.
Were
to
you
this
drunk?
day. No, we're not. But so he just started traveling with me, and again, kind of being the one I would tell people, hey, you know, you're interested in knowing how, you know, to get in touch with me or want to ask for me to speak, email Daniel Hens. So that just kind of grew, and then it obviously, when I snapped and the story kind of went even more viral, like there was a flood of requests, and through kind of things I did, Daniel actually met some other players, former NFL guys that he started to maybe represent, and he just basically, as I always forget if we're like millennial or Gen Z. I mean, we're right at that line. But anyways,
how old are you?
25, almost 26.
All right, so
we're like
yeah.
we're like right on that line.
Yeah. You're like TikTok generation.
Yeah, right. Don't say that. You know, but,
you're TikTok generation.
Yeah, we're gonna trick you. You have to do a TikTok dance after this.
Oh my gosh. But basically, whatever you want to call us, we like to bring technology to the world. And so we were looking for an easy platform that we could just basically tell people when they want to reach out, one, have a central way to reach out, and then two, make the whole process of booking someone, you know, me, a lot easier, right? Instead of having to go back and forth every single time and answer so many questions, like just give people a central way to find information and contact me. There's nothing else like that on the internet. And weirdly enough, there was nothing like that. So we took our business degrees that we were, you know, getting at USC and built a platform ourselves, and that's how kind of Engage came about.
I love it. You know, a lot of these people, like when you're just a normal, like you ever transplants from LA, hear all these stories about USC.
Yeah.
You know, it's the bro culture. These dudes are just like fucking around with dad's buddy. You guys are actually like taking that degree immediately, applying it.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
dope.
and then I love like just the introduction of whenever tech is used to connect people, like actually. Not like TikTok, which,
right?
Like is used to like poison our brains and all of this shit.
Don't get LJ started on TikTok.
No,
we gotta go.
Trust me, you don't want to get me started either, man. I feel like we can do a
Chinese
separate, but no, man.
Sorry. That's what he said. Whatever.
No, it's true. I mean, it's unfortunately true. But like through seeing how impactful speaking to people are, I've been able to do that again since 12 years old, and it's been such a blessing in my life to be able to share my story and help others, like to be able to really give the opportunity to other people who in that industry, because there was no technology touching it. It's like any other antiquated industry, like there was only a slim margin of actually people that were being helped by agents and speaker bureaus, because if it was under a certain price point, guess what, they're not making money off that deal,
Right.
so they're not able to. So you ended up having people like me whose parents or like would kind of find a little random freshman roommate who would help, like that's the only people that were actually getting booked if you weren't like Tony Robbins or like these speakers bringing down 6 figures, right? And so because of that, really we have been able to help so many people, athletes, just other people in other industries who have these incredible stories, but maybe they're only making $5,000 a speech or something like that, or less.
Only $5,000?
Well,
what are we talking? What kind of world y'all living in?
Can you sign us up?
Yes, actually.
All right.
my
I like
wife
speeches.
My wife is speaking at Harvard at the end of the month at the like Women's of Color conference.
See, there you go.
So maybe I get her in this.
I know.
engagement.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And because I'm trying to pay rent.
Well,
What are you talking about?
She's paying our trip right now.
Yeah,
You'd be
she
amazed,
is
though.
bougie like
Like
that.
you'd be amazed that like most speaker bureaus will not touch any speech if it's less than, honestly, like $15,000. If you're making less than $15,000, like you're gonna probably have to do most of the negotiating, all the details yourself, because the agents don't have enough time in the day. They're not gonna make 20%
That
or
makes
25% off
Sure.
a $5,000 deal.
Yeah.
But guess what? Like there's a lot of incredible speakers who have incredible stories who can impact so many lives at that price point. And like one of the coolest things about what we've been able to do is actually give those people the opportunity on a scale of going and sharing their story.
Got it. So you're running around Radio Row a little bit, not only just telling like your story, obviously, and then you're building Engage. So you're trying to grab more people and say, hey, like, let's get you on this platform and actually like inspire the world.
Well, I mean, you'd be amazed at some of these, and obviously when we built Engage, like the first kind of group of talent we sought out was ex-athletes, right? Because it was like our wheelhouse, you know. But even today, 5 years in this thing, there's so many of these guys, ex-athletes, that just aren't really capitalizing on their story, or don't know how to really share it, or don't know how to package it, or don't have anyone fielding those requests and trying to build those bridges. And so we really will go talk to people that you'd be amazed at the names we'll come up to and say, hey, you thought about speaking? Yeah, I thought about speaking, but I don't know, man, I really don't know how to get into it, and it kind of seems weird. It's like, let us help you, because you have a story, and it's something that most of those guys will enjoy for no other reason than after you're done playing sports, you don't get to be in front of people, like
and
that
you're missing
adrenaline
that
rush.
like locker room atmosphere, right? That
performance,
camaraderie,
like all that stuff.
exactly.
Like, so on stage when you're speaking, like that's another cool aspect of it, is that you kind of get some of those similar feelings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like people that even have disabilities or whatever the case may be, that other companies will love to connect with them and to share their inspirational story. And so that's what's actually really interesting about your company. I'm sure so many people can use your platform to connect with these big corporations.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's like I said, there's a whole host of people with disabilities, or like I said, in every industry, there's a whole host of people that just, again, have stories, have overcome adversity, but maybe, like I said, maybe they just haven't had that viral video go on TikTok or something. So they're not like being sought out the same way as someone who maybe doesn't even have a story, but like makes entertaining 15-second videos. And so like that person with 2 million TikTok followers is getting booked all the time. Well, I mean, sure, they deserve it in some way, shape, or form, I guess, but that's sad that person gets so much attention, and yet the person who came, from a single parent home and lived in poverty and yet came up and helped their brother, all those guys, they don't get to share their story. They're not desired the same way. It's like, if anything, man, they should be desired more, right?
Because that's real.
It's real.
That's real. And like, I feel like so many engage or like viral speakers can be a little bit like less authentic, and you don't really connect with them. You're like, I don't get it. Like your lifestyle is, I can't even understand it right
Well,
now.
yeah,
And
I mean,
it's a performance.
I mean, you're
at
getting
this
paid
point.
$15,000 in overtime. He's probably getting watered down.
Right,
You're probably getting
right.
less engaged. You probably don't care as much. And then now you want to speak with people who are straight out of the bottom, like want to really share their story naturally. You know what I mean?
This is our mobile production studio.
Yeah, we're actually
we are
moving right
actually
now.
Yeah, we are
moving right
moving.
now. The
No,
door
I
is
agree.
opening.
Shit.
We're moving
This
the conversation.
This is authentic.
We're
This is real.
literally.
We needed to move up 5 feet, and we get it. We're just your primer for radio.
yeah, we're the warm up.
This is the warm up. We want to be mindful of your time because you have like real interviews. To get
No,
to.
this is probably the most fun all day. I'm kind of a little insulted that you guys didn't ask me to move the
Yeah.
button, you know, like.
Now, so I also hear you're an incredible golfer.
Yes. I am a decent golfer. I mean, like, incredible in the fact that like I'm blind and can go out there and do what I do, but
Yeah.
like I'm not, shooting under par yet.
But that pisses me
like,
off. So I took golf lessons growing up, and the first thing they told me is keep your eye on the ball. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so you're skipping the most crucial step. And so do you find yourself like with dudes like me that are like get a little agitated?
Yes.
Because when you beat them, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
dude?
exactly. No, I mean, I think they don't ever want to say that, but like, kudos to you for speaking the truth. Yeah, I definitely think I piss people off out there because
I
like,
love that.
it's
Is that the game of
it's a
bros? Like, it's about
frustrating
pissing
game.
people off.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you could take the most wholesome, pure person and put them on a golf course and they are going to become, a little demon child and be, saying words that they never said in their life.
Of
right?
course.
Like,
Of course.
that's just how golf makes you. And then to sit there and then watch a blind dude who can't see the ball, like stripe it next to you. I imagine you're just wanting to break a club, man.
You
Like,
could
that makes
get like a
sense.
hustle going here.
oh yeah.
Like a
no,
little
that's what I
like
tell
white man
people,
can't
right?
jump.
Kid,
No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. We're on the range before like a round. We're playing with maybe two strangers or something, and like the person lining me up can like line me up poorly, and I'll maybe missing the ball or
Yep.
shanking it.
Yep.
And then like, hey guys, like yeah, I'm playing. This is my guy. He's actually blind. Like just be patient with
Never
us today.
played before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like-
And you're yelling at him.
yeah, $20
You're
a
like,
hole.
fuck you, my form's perfect.
Yeah.
He did not line me up right.
Yeah.
Boom,
Yeah.
line it up right.
Boom.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Holy shit.
Yep.
You can
This is the
talk about
real-
making 20 grand.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
This is the real business.
Yeah, 5K bottom, come on.
Fuck all that, dude. Okay.
They're
Oh.
remaking White Man Can't Jump. Maybe this could be like the new movie.
White man can't golf. You know what I
White-
mean? Like, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
No, we know what that actually is. That's the one sport we still got.
Yeah.
Tiger didn't even take it from us.
Yeah. You still left him y'all with the. It's fine. It's fine. It's great. So I'm actually curious about you, man. Like because you're.
Are you really?
You mentioned no. Because you mentioned about like how when people line you up, when people give you technique. I'm curious when you're a long snapper. That's a hard job.
Mhm.
What technique were like these coaches really giving you that made you like super successful? Because I want to know about like really when you were blocking and like feeling someone out and how did you really contain them? I'm very curious about that. Like,
Yeah, so like the whole blocking responsibilities is really just trying to kind of be in the way. Like you're not having to like pass pro for like 2 or 3 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like so there's guys that are usually trying to shoot the A gap, and those guards' jobs on each side of you are to kind of come down and give them a nice, punch. But so if anything, you kind of get someone kind of thrown into you. But like I said, you're just kind of putting your hands out after you snap the ball and really just trying to, if you feel a body, just give it a quick shove. Because like
yeah.
the worst thing could be is like just someone shooting the A gap without being touched, right? So like
Could you remember can you explain what the A gap? I don't actually know what.
yeah, so the A gap is just so if you imagine like the center, so on the left and right of the center, that's the A gap.
Okay.
And then you have your guards, and then to the guards, the left guard's left and the right guard's right, that's the B gap, and then you got your tackle, and then to the tackle's left and the tackle's right, that's
So
your
each
C gap.
space
Yeah.
from the right to left is ABC.
ABC, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where people are like, oh, like, were you scared of getting hit? I'm like, well, not really. One, because it's not like, I don't know, it's not like you're running over the middle and someone's taking a running start and trying to drop their shoulder into you necessarily.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna get hit that hard. One, but two, like someone's goal if they're trying to block a kick is to try to get through without being touched. Like if
Yeah.
someone's there just trying to run over the long snapper, like usually you're not going to have enough time to get through that contact, then gain speed, and then jump and
Right.
try to block the kick. Like,
It's rare that you find that superhuman, which there's a few of them
There's a
that
few,
jump
yes,
over
yes.
like that.
and now
line.
Yeah.
they've even made that illegal.
Oh, I didn't know it's illegal.
Yeah,
now.
you can't. You
Over the
can't.
center?
yeah,
Oh
you
yeah,
can't
you can't
jump
go to the
over.
center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The rules keep on getting.
I know.
It's hard to
changing,
keep
yeah,
What are
track.
we talking about?
Yeah. Different from college and NFL too. It's like Jesus.
yeah, so blocking wasn't like the biggest deal, but from a snapping standpoint, yeah, I mean, like I had to spend an entire 3 or 4 months going through drills, because like the thing is with snapping is you want, obviously, like you are a quarterback throwing the ball through your legs with 2 hands.
Right.
Like it needs to be fast. It needs to be a spiral. It needs to be accurate. Like it's no different than, trying to hit a 10-yard post, right? Like that is what you're doing except through your legs. And so learning how to get that spin on the ball and that consistency like took a while. And so there's a ton of drills that just basically learning how to kind of have 2 hands on the ball and be able to get that clean spiral and kind of through your fingertips and everything. Like it's weird, but it's kind of like, I say, more of an art and a skill than anything. Like it's an art,
right? Right, for sure. Yeah.
And did anything like at USC, like they're teaching you that made you like 10 times better, 10% better, that they were kind of like helping you out? Because that's an even tougher job to get that.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, not too much. Like everything that I kind of, the drills and stuff that I had learned, I just kind of continued to work on and apply. Like when I went to USC, I mean,
natural talent. USC can't teach him shit.
No.
My bad.
The thing I learned,
I'm a fucking athlete, my guy. Like
the thing I learned at USC was all in the weight room, man. I mean, so I went to USC like 185. I walked in on my freshman, and like by I guess kind of second semester, so after the season, like entire kind of semester off season lifting the weight room, like I probably went to summer after my freshman year like around like 225.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Oh, so they taught you how to eat.
were you
Yeah.
cycling
Yeah.
steroids?
Yeah.
No,
Like,
man.
how are you
I mean,
pumping-
look, I'm 6'3" and
Okay.
some change, like just shy of 6'4". So like 185 looks pretty senior. So
You
like
went in as,
my
like, a
body
skinny
was
dude.
really looking to put on weight. So
Okay.
Sure.
like I got to 205, 210 really quickly. Just
I
because
got
like,
to 205 last summer. Actually, second, I'm 5'7" in 1/4.
Cheeseburgers, son. Cheeseburgers.
But after like that next 10 to 15 pounds is a lot harder. But yeah, you just eat, man. You just eat and lift in a certain way, and that's honestly one of the things I came out of college just loving the weight room, loving kind of knowing how to manipulate and make your body adapt. And I wanted to get my personal trainer certificate at some point after college. I didn't know when I'd have time, and then 2020 hit, and I had all the time in the world. So I actually did get my personal trainer certificate after
Nice.
in 2020. So it's something I kind of do with people as well, is kind of train them. And I actually had the opportunity for a little bit in Orange County to run an adaptive fitness center. So it's actually this really cool fitness center that had a bunch of like, seated cardio or kind of these resistance machines where the seat would kick out. So it was more than just people in wheelchairs. We had different type of, traumatic brain injuries or neurological disabilities or whatever. But it was really cool to kind of apply, the strength and conditioning to people who, weren't necessarily trained to run a 4.40, but rather like, let's work on, how to get your arm to be more flexible so you can reach out and grab a water bottle and bring it to your lips,
Totally.
Dope. Well, hey, I want to be mindful of your time. You got a lot going on today, but thank you so much. It's a privilege being able to have you on Purple Banter Live. What else do you where's your like little shout outs? What's about Engage for where people can
where
find
can they
you
follow
and make sure that they
Oh,
can grab
yeah.
what you
Engage. Where do they engage?
Yeah,
where do they
Where
engage?
do they
engage?
See, there you go. I love it. Though I hear if you use it as a verb, like you can't copyright or something. So I don't
really?
know. I
No.
don't know. I don't. I only
At
took,
least nobody can steal it from you. Then.
yeah, I only took a few business law classes. I don't remember that one. But
I was in college way too long ago.
letsengage.com is where you want to go.
How'd you get that URL? I feel like that.
It's a nice
That's
one.
a
Yeah.
good.
Well,
Who'd you pay off for that?
I know. Well, no, it's available. We wanted
It's that
That's
USC stuff.
crazy.
They
Yeah.
pay for shit.
we wanted to get engage.com, but I think Christian Mingle owned that for a little while, and now it's something else.
Christian Mingle.
That's fine.
Yeah,
God.
I know. Yeah.
Engage with. Never mind.
Yeah. Who knew? I don't know.
That's
Leave
a
it-
little
leave it
different than
alone,
your
Gavin.
site.
Leave it alone.
Different than my porn sites.
my God, here we are.
Sorry.
Cameron's the first thing you read today.
What? Sorry. I had my coffee.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, we love it. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, guys.
And
Yeah.
I hope you just have a great time out here and maybe even see you a little bit later. So
Heck yeah.
love
We'll
it.
say fight
Yeah.
on and row the boat.
That's right.
Hey, Skol, baby.
Let's go.